Hello. I'm doing the Taromance tag by Tarot Magpie. I've been looking forward to doing this one. And I've taken some notes so that I can be a little bit more coherent. So hopefully this will be a little easier to understand than my last one. Okay, so the first prompt is enemies to lovers. A deck style or a system you've insisted just wasn't for you until you realized it was. So I have for the Thoth. So the reason why I wasn't into it at first was because I heard that the Golden Dawn correspondences were a mess, and at the time, the person who got me into tarot, who was I think he was my roommate at the time, or someone that lived really close anyway. He seemed a little bit unhinged about it. I think he had other stuff going on in his life now that I think about it, but he did seem a little, like, I think tarot was, like, he had a little bit of tarot madness, and I don't know if it was because of that or just also, like, hearing about it, I had the impression that all the Thoth users were, like, Crowley worshippers, and I had, like, a bad impression of Crowley, even though I didn't know that much about him. So I ended up getting it kind of reluctantly because I was getting into astrological correspondences, and I felt like I was getting frustrated with the Rider-Waite-Smith because it seemed, like, kind of vague about it. And then I fell in love with the minors. And I was like, this is exactly what I want with the deck. I don't know, something about the minors being, like, they're kind of pippish, but, like, still symbolic. Like, I really vibed with them. I didn't like the borders at the time. Well, I didn't like the borders, and I didn't like the backs at the time. I think I probably would have grown to like the backs, especially learning about it, like what the symbols mean and stuff. But either way, I trimmed it and I rebacked it after I was, like, confident I had memorized the astrological correspondences. And I didn't do a formal study at the time, just, like, reading with it and referencing the website Esoteric Meanings whenever I did a reading. I think I started studying it more formally late last month in October 2025. So yeah, that's the first one. So the next one is Friends to Lovers, a deck you liked well enough, and then one reading deepened or changed your relationship with it. So I have two. I have Spirit Keepers, the Tribune Edition, and Dust to Onyx, the Travel Edition. Okay, so with the Spirit Keepers, both me and my partner had, like, emotional reactions when we saw card 0, the Initiate, one of the Fool cards. For some reason, like, independently of each other, like, I saw his reaction, but, like, I also had that reaction on my own. Like, we got kind of misty-eyed. So I like the deck. And I think when I was doing the 22-week workbook that came with it, there was a Triquetra reading that I was doing, and it was either that or from Holistic Tarot, and I can't really remember. I never read much of Holistic Tarot because all of a sudden I had to move and I had to downsize, so I gave it to a free library along with the beginner's workbook I made. So I have some regrets about that, but I think I had to do it. So well. Anyway, during the reading, the Triquetra reading I was doing, I was trying to hold a lot of information in my head, even though I had paper and pen out. And part of the reading itself seemed to reference that it was okay to externalize things during a reading, and reference the question and spread positions on paper instead of holding all the information in your head. And that was a game changer for me. Like, I have ADHD and I have, like, limited working memory. So, like, ever since then, my readings have been a lot easier to do because I don't like try to like hold everything and switch between like different information while trying to like focus on a reading and like interpreting the cards. And I feel like I've had a lot of experiences like that with this deck, where it'll revolutionize something about tarot for me in my practice. But I mean, that example probably seems kind of silly and simple, but it was the main example I could think of since it's been a few years since I've been like really active with tarot. So yeah. And the next one is Dust to Onyx. So for a lot of these, and including this one, I haven't done that many readings with them because I bought a bunch of decks in 2019, 2020 because I had quit smoking and I was bribing myself by using the money I was spending on cigarettes to get tarot decks, like indie tarot decks especially. And then I went back to school, and then I had life stuff happen, and I had to like drop out, and I came back home, and I was like recovering from like an illness, and I went through a tarot dry spell. So it's been a journey, but I'm like, I haven't done that many readings with all my newer decks. Like the decks I got earlier on, I've done more readings with, but some of the newer ones in my collection, even though they're not that new, I haven't done that many readings with. So I just really wanted to do the tag. So yeah. Anyway. So anyway, the last two readings I have done with this, I've gotten the 8 of Coins, and let me see if I can find it. It's gonna be the last card to watch. I really like the small size. I do wish I could get the guidebook separately, but I do have a PDF of it. Oh, it's the last card. I was right. Okay, I'm so sorry. So in the 8 of Coins, we see a girl in her braids, and it just makes so much sense to me. The guidebook description really hits. It talks about the experience of hair braiding and practicing and learning of it in African cultures. And I'm not great at braiding. I've actually got short hair right now, but I remember getting braided as a kid and practicing braiding, and it just makes a lot of sense. There's like a lot of patience and diligence involved in braiding and improving at it, and it's like definitely one where practice is definitely rewarded with like skill upgrades. So I really can see how this relates to the 8 of Pentacles. And also I just like love the card. It's really beautiful, and the message is really clear. So yeah, that's been a little bit of a stalker card for me lately, is the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, so the next one is Forced Proximity. A deck used for a month, took on holiday, made yourself work with for that changed your relationship with it. And that's my Universal Waite Tarot. So I don't actually totally remember why I got this. I think it was for studying purposes. You can see that I've like annotated it. That's the astrological symbol for the majors. That's the cards they're associated with. Except for when it's obvious. I don't think I did that with like the zodiac trumps. And then what's this one? Oh, that's their Golden Dawn title. This is one I was trying to like make the Rider-Waite do the like more esoteric thing that I ended up being more satisfied with the Thoth for. But it still helped me, like, I don't think I have these memorized, but hold on, I need a drink. Okay. Anyway, I think it was for studying purposes is why I got it. Like, I think I went in for a Rider-Waite Smith deck, like, to the tarot shop in the city that I was living in at the time. And I got this one, probably because I like the backs. Because they're let me show you. Because they're starry. Oh, it's getting chipped. I'm not sure if I realized at the time that it was a clone and not like an original, because like, I don't think I did. I don't know if I would have bought it if I had known, because like one thing that kind of bothers me about it is like, for example, the Ten of Swords, like in that card, he's bleeding, but in the original there's no blood. It's not super noticeable. Like, there's blood at his head. Like, I could just pretend that it's like just a not outlined cape, or blanket or whatever that is, robe. But it seems pretty clearly to be blood. And the original, people talk about it like saying, "See, there's no blood." It's like it's not like he's literally dead. And this one, it's like, it's not a big deal. But anyway, so I worked with this deck for a while, and I grew to appreciate its clearness and directness and how simple and easy it is to like read with, while still having some symbolism in there. I think before I felt like kind of begrudged to have to reference the Rider-Waite-Smith images, but I love them and I love this deck. I did have one Rider-Waite-Smith before this. It was a mini, and it was like the original images, and I felt like it didn't like me very much, or at least it was like a crotchety old man, kind of like grumpy and yelling at me, or like mumbling curmudgeonly. Like, I felt kind of frustrated with it. I think I didn't even want it in the first place. It just felt like I needed it, because like I was like referencing it so much online while like learning the meanings, and it was like, might as well get it. I ended up like giving it away to someone on Reddit. It was like not in great shape, but then they were like, I want it. So they were like, I think that it added to appeal to them that it was kind of like worn. So yeah. Okay, number 5. So number 5 is Soulmates, a deck that, when it was just meant to be, a deck that you fell in love with immediately. So for me, that is, oh no, Shadowscapes. So it wasn't exactly immediate, but it sort of was, and I will explain. I had actually originally seen it at the shop my friend took me to get my first deck. I guess, for being technical, it was my second, but my first deck was when I was 11, and I think my mom threw it away without me realizing it. Ha ha ha. I didn't realize until like 10 years later when my friend was talking to me about tarot. So anyway, this is, well, anyway, so when he took me to get my first deck, I think I saw this at the corner of my eye, and I did like a double take, and I was like drawn to it, but ultimately I went with another deck. Then a year later, I was seeing it around online, and I was kind of like, whatever, but then I saw one picture that made me curious, and I found the artist's website, and I actually got to see the images in detail, and then I fell in love. And I was like drunk at the time, and it was like really late at night, but I put in an order on her website and fell asleep. And then I forgot about it for like 2 weeks. And then I suddenly remembered I had bought something online, and it ought to have been here by now. So I checked my email and sent the artist a message. I checked the email probably to see what I had bought. Yeah. Anyway, she responded really quickly and like apologized and like sent the deck. And I got, so most of the time when I see this online or in person or anywhere, it's like the whole set with the book. But the one I got wasn't the one with the guidebook. It was just like the deck. And I've never seen that anywhere else. So maybe the artist just has the decks, or just with all the books. I don't know. But anyways, it was okay, because I got the app later, and it has a guidebook on there, so I got kind of familiar with the stories. So I don't remember all of them, but I remember a lot of them. So, and if I need to, I could just like, you know, buy the app again. It's like $4. So if I want to like get familiar with the stories again. I had like an annual thing where I would put the deck in order and go through like each card and like spend time admiring it, and sometimes with a magnifying glass. And it's been fun to do and see how our relationship has changed when I do that. But I haven't done that for a while now, but might do it again sometime. So far this is my favorite deck, and one I'd consider a soul deck. I think it's like I only read it for myself with it too. I had one experience where some people who I was with like drew cards without really asking me first from it, to see how, like, maybe to see how I felt about them, and it was like really revealing, and like I was kind of like shook up. So after that I was like, no one can touch this with me. I find it is a very encouraging reader, and like it feels like wise, and it's like, I guess it's like gentle, but I feel like it's kind of, it has like a sort of tells you what you need to hear thing, not like just tells a brutal honest truth. Like I feel like when I did a deck interview, I don't really do deck interviews, but like this one, it made sense to me like over time. That was the first time I had done a deck interview, and I got the King of Swords as like something about personifying the deck, I think. And yeah, I feel like that it fits for me. So yeah, that's the Shadowscapes, my Soulmate deck. I found this bag on the ground when I was walking in the last city I lived in, and I used it for a deck bag for this deck. Okay, so this is, oh, I need a drink. Slow Burn, a deck you didn't have the best first impression of, but the more you worked with it, the more you liked it. Okay, so that's Britt's Third Eye Tarot. This was one of my early purchases, and I remember being like super excited looking at the images on Make playing cards. It was like sort of anime style and fun, and that was like totally my thing. And then the deck arrived, and I was like kind of disappointed. Like the quality was fine, the images were the same, but it just seemed like super simple, and like there wasn't a lot of symbolism. But over time, I came to appreciate its simplicity and how it distilled the tarot meanings into easy to understand images. It's like one of my most clearest readers. I also was doing a tarot study group for a while, and people liked this deck because it was like cute and easy to understand. I also gave a reading with it on Cult of Tarot, like the forum. I don't think it's active right now, but it was a good and easy to understand reading, so I appreciate it a lot more now. I'm not the best at reading without a guidebook yet. I think I just need to trust myself more, but this deck makes it easy for me, and sometimes you want an easy reader, you know. I do remember someone like exclaiming like, it's so benign, and I thought that was funny, and it'll make more sense with the next deck, which I will bring out now. I kept this from the box. So the next prompt is Opposites Attract. This deck is not your usual style, but you love it anyway. And that's a Deviant Moon Borderless edition. Okay. So when I got obsessed with tarot, like I've been like doing tarot on and off since like 2013. But I got obsessed in 2019. And I liked connecting people to potential decks, whether that was like giving them decks or like showing them decks that they might like. Hold on, I need this to be in the middle more. Can't tell what's in the middle because I have my notes app open. Okay. And one person that ended up connecting a deck to was my partner's brother, who was like into clowns and carnival vibes and like maybe a little dark and macabre stuff, surreal stuff. So I thought he'd like Deviant Moon. So for his like either birthday or Christmas, I me and my partner got him the deck and the book. And he thought the deck was beautiful. Yay! He's also the one who saw my Britt's Third Eye Tarot and was like, it's so benign. So when I was researching decks for him, I remember seeing a video on the Hermit's Lamp about the Deviant Moon. And he talks about how it's not just dark. And one of the cards he referenced was a death card. Okay. And he explained that the mother has, it's in the little white book too. Like, she's given birth and her child is trying to return to the comfort of the womb, but she isn't allowing them to because that phase of their life is over. And I was like, oh, it's beautiful. So, years later in 2022, I had gone through some really difficult things in my life, and I thought of this deck, and I bought it from Patrick Valenza's website. And I hadn't bought a deck in some time. It's been a few years, and even now it's the last deck purchase I've made. But I connected to it, and I found it really beautiful and relatable. I think I was surprised by how I thought it was beautiful, or how beautiful I thought it was. I haven't done that many readings with it yet. So they bought it in the middle of a tarot dry spell, and like went back into that after. But then what ended up happening was that sometime I'd like passed between that difficult life experience, and that last time I looked through the deck, when I initially looked through it, I was really feeling connected to the like darker kind of images, because it was like where I felt I vibed with it at the time, like, and then the last time I looked through the deck, I felt like nervousness instead, like I had some kind of preemptive flinch response, but then I think I didn't want to go back to that period of time, but then I did a reading with it, and like, it was fine, it was perfectly fine, and I felt good about it. It was like a good experience. So I think I just need to like read with it more and get familiar with the images, and then I'll be comfortable reading with the deck more frequently. Yeah, I think like I was just nervous because of the time I associated with, but I feel fine about it looking at it now. Okay, so blind date, an impulse buy, a gift, or a deck you got without much research but ended up really loving. And I had trouble thinking of one for this, but I went with the Halloween Tarot in a tin. Okay, so I don't remember the circumstances of how I got this deck. Like, I think I got it from a tarot shop in the city I used to live in, or it might have been Amazon. I don't remember. I think I was thinking that I wanted a tin deck. I don't think I looked much at the deck images when I bought it, but anyway, I love it now. I haven't done a crazy amount of readings with it, but I carry it around like everywhere I go. It's in my bag. And the readings I have done were all quirky and fun and interesting. It's mostly a clone, but a few cards diverge, and some of those choices feel like really strange. So I'm glad I kept the little white book, because it's not always clear why they chose to go in a certain direction. There's one card that kind of bugs me, and that's this card, the Two of Imps. I think I'm like, I don't know if he's supposed to be like black or it's like a pumpkin or some kind of mystical creature, because he doesn't look like a human like the other humans in the deck do. Like, he's a bit odd looking. And also the meaning of the card seems like different. It's like, maybe it's like when your Dominion clashes with another's, or like you claim to like Dominion or whatever, or like having two warring ideas come head to head. But then there's like a mediator. Like, it's very different. Otherwise I like this deck though. It's like, I like this energy. I'm looking at the little white book for the meaning of the Two of Imps in here. Two of Imps. A bold leader, resolving conflicts to facilitate a new enterprise, a new partnership, success. Resolving conflicts to facilitate a new enterprise. I have never heard that meaning for this card before. I could see that with like the 4 of imps or wands because it's like Venus and Aries. But I will take it. That helped. Get in. Get in. Okay, the next one is Second Chance. A deck you plan to get rid of that worked its way back into rotation, or a deck that you did move along and ended up repurchasing. So I didn't really have one that totally fit for this one. Like, there's one I kind of want to get again. That's the Shrine of the Black Medusa Tarot, because I ended up giving it away to a friend. I let her, it wasn't totally in the right headspace at the time, and I ended up letting her pick from some of my decks, and she chose that one. But she's really vibed with it, probably more than I have, and more than she has with any other tarot deck. She's kind of like a willful person. Doesn't like being constrained by things, but that deck, I think, it seems to give her the freedom she needs in the tarot deck, or for tarot reading. So, but I am kind of like, oh, I kind of wish I still had that, because it's hard to find like all like black decks, and or like, you know, I mean, not that hard, I guess. There's a lot more out there now, but and like that one's really unique and it's kind of Thoth based. And even though it's collage, I still had like an okay time reading with it. So, but it's kind of hard to find nowadays. Like I might message the creator sometime and see where she's selling in the U.S. But anyway, this is the Cosmic Tarot, and I am still not sure about this deck. I got it in a Leave a Deck, Pick a Deck trade at a pagan shop in the city I used to live in. Okay, so I did it right on the minors. Why is this hard to do now? And I think I left either the Cook's Tarot, which was too sticky, and like I didn't mind the gloss, but it was the stickiness that was a problem. Or it was a New Visions Tarot, which I had trouble reading with at first, because I had like bad vibes from the deck for some reason, and then I figured out after I was like planning on getting rid of it that it was just my brain like detecting symbols that I didn't recognize. And I think that art being kind of like, maybe, I don't know if it's like oil based art or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's a good deck if you're interested in it, in New Visions. But anyway, I think I left the Cook's Tarot. And I liked the deck enough, this deck enough at the time, but I didn't like the astrological correspondences on the court cards. And I thought the borders were a little annoying, even though I liked the font. So I trimmed it and I renamed the chords to what I thought they should be. But I think it still kind of confuses me. And I didn't do the neatest job about, like, you know, with the titles and, like, the trimming. I didn't do too bad at trimming, but, like, I just kind of, like, took a Google Sharpie and wrote on the cards. It's not as bad as I thought, but it's, like, it's okay. But when I've done readings with it, it reads fine. I haven't gotten a court card recently with it, though, so I'm not sure how that would confuse me. Anyway, I listed it for trade on the Tarot Forum. I'm on, not like, I don't think anybody would want this one, because I've kind of, like, massacred it. It probably in anyone's eyes who, like, would want the Cosmic Tarot. But, I was like, it was just on your own profile, you can say what decks you have for trade, so I thought, okay, my version of this, I explained it. Yeah, and anyway, after that, though, on the Tarot Forum, I was posting in the favorite cards forum. You just, like, you know, it's like your favorite cards, it's like a thread for each card, and people put their pictures of, like, their favorite versions of that card. And I found that I was picking cards from the Cosmic Tarot a lot. So a lot of my favorite depictions of certain cards are in this deck. But I don't like a lot of the minors though, especially the dancing ones that don't convey that much. And I think there's like, I'm not gonna look for it, but there's like 2 different cards from 2 different suits with different numbers that are really similar too. And I don't see the connection. Like, did I drop one? No. Like, they're both balanced on 1 foot, and at their feet is some sort of spiral, I think. They're doing the same exact pose. But I don't know why 2 random cards would be, like, connected like that. But anyway, after seeing how much I liked some of the cards, I want to keep trying. So I'm going to keep trying to read with it and see how I feel. And especially see how, like, the court cards, like, feel after I, like, renamed them. So, yeah. So this one is Unrequited Love. You really want to love this deck, but it just doesn't love you back yet. So I didn't really have one for this prompt because I'm kind of careful with the decks I buy. And I haven't had any bad luck yet. But I do have one that doesn't to be, like, in love with me. And that's the next World Tarot. Maybe I'm not punk enough. And I'm not, like, well versed in, like, anarchist theory or history. I also have a little trouble with this deck because I'm not a huge people person. And the whole deck has, like, people representing the cards. Like, each card is a person. It's like a court card deck. But these might just be insecurities I'm projecting onto the cards. It's also kind of big. Like, they have a smaller one now. But I got this one, there was only the big one. But I think I would still want the big one because the pictures are so detailed. And it's not hard to shuffle. It's like, I side shuffle it. But anyway, I remember 3 readings I've done with this deck. The first, I don't remember the question, but I got the 10 of Swords. And at the time, it was like a stalker card to like ridiculous proportions. Like, I was getting the 10 of Swords in like decks that didn't even have a 10 of Swords, like Oracle decks. And it was the first reading I'd done with this deck. And my partner, who is like punk and like well versed in like anarchist and like other political theory, I came home and I told him how I was having trouble with the reading and this repeat card, and he helped me through the reading. And he had like a whole stream of consciousness download where he got like misty-eyed on my behalf and like really explained the reading and like a 10 of Swords for me and how it related to my life. And it was like very validating. I wish I could remember what he said. It's like, I hate when that happens. Anyway, the next one was, I asked which card I was. And I think I was trying to look for a significator. So I was asking different decks, and I got the Page of Swords, like, out of the whole deck. And I was, like, really happy because the person, oh, here it is. Here, the person, like, looked like me, and they were, like, badass, and it helped me connect to, like, a part of me that I've had since childhood that's, like, fearless and pattern breaking and kind of rebellious and, like, a bit of a daredevil. So I was like, yes. And the last one was, I just got this card. Here it is. It was like 2 years ago. I asked what my strengths were, and I got the Queen of Pentacles, and I was like, that sounds like my mom. And that was like a real reality check. After I moved back home because of the difficulties I had experienced, she was like there for me when no one else could be. And even though there was like a little bit of resentment and like difficulties in our relationship, it's like mostly fine now, and she's been like my rock. So I feel like I'm less punk than I used to be, and it's probably because I'm living at home and not able to be as independent as I want, or like how I used to be. So maybe that's why I'm kind of intimidated by this deck, because it's like it'll reality check me in a way that like no other deck will. Like, I feel like I want to like appease it and like live a life it would approve of. But I don't think it dislikes me or anything. I think it's just real. Yeah. Another one that I haven't gotten, like that would, like, it'd be weird. It's weird, but like, if I feel like, if it's this, I'm not sure if I will or not get it. But like, sometimes what I'll do is like, I'll sometimes like Google a deck and like pick a random number. Oh, well, I'll think of a question, then I'll pick a random number, or like if I really want to, I can like do random number generator on Google, and I'll like look at Google Images for that card, or for that deck's card images, and I'll count the card images until I get to that number, and then I'll use that image as like an answer for the question I've asked. Get in. So I'll do this to see, like, test how a deck might read for me. So I did this with like the Terra Volatile, and like I feel like it didn't seem to like me much. Like at first it was fine. I asked like whether I should get the deck, and I got the Intuition card, which is like an alternate High Priestess, and took that to mean I didn't need to buy this right now, which was real because I'm broke and I'm like more focused on doing a depth kind of phase where I focus on the decks I already have. And I got that same kind of card with the Marielle, which I also don't have. So then I asked what our relationship would be if I did get it eventually, and I got the King of Cups, and like I felt a bit uninspired by the image. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. So I was like, maybe I wouldn't like reading with this deck. Then a week or two later, I asked a question. Like, I don't remember what I asked, but I got the Death card, and the vibe just seemed to be like, fuck off and let it go. But that's just online readings anyway, so I don't actually know how it would be in my hands. But I think I've cooled down anyway, so about like getting it, so that's fine. Okay, last one. Oh, okay. 1 second. So I'm just gonna get one deck out for this one, because I already showed it previously, the other one. But the prompt is Love Triangle, 2 decks that are in competition with each other in your collection, or a pair of decks that you always use together. I don't really like pair decks together. I have a few Oracle decks. I don't really use them, but maybe someday I'll like pair them. I have done it in the past a little bit with the Vessel Oracle, for example. But 2 decks that are in slight competition with each other are a deck mentioned before, Britt's Third Eye Tarot and the Sakki. So I was actually really hoping for a chance to share the Sakki here, because like it didn't 100% fit any of the prompts. I should keep this one out. Okay. I don't remember how I found it or heard of it, or what the circumstances around buying it were. It was like one of my early deck purchases. But I probably saw like a really colorful deck, and like got really excited and ordered it, and I probably watched it flip through. I do remember the envelope having like been stamped with purple images from the deck. But anyways, these 2 decks are in competition with each other because they're both fun. Sakki is a little more similar to the Rider-Waite Smith. It's like a little more symbolic and less stripped back than Britt's Third Eye Tarot. There's also like astrological correspondences on it. It's also way more colorful, obviously, which is why I love it so much. Britt's Third Eye is like charming and sweet and funny. Fun and easy to read with. I think the Sakki is also easy to read with, but not as easy. Like I often have to think of the message it's giving and how it applies. It feels like an inner child deck, but they're both fun decks. I think I'll more often reach for the Sakki because I love the color so much, but I love both the decks, so yeah. And that's it. Thanks for watching. It's been an hour. I hope that was okay. I'm going to watch it back before I post it, and if it's too annoying to me with the in between me going to go get the decks thing, I guess I'll try editing it with iMovie. I haven't done it before though, so but if not, then I'm gonna post it. If I can't be bothered, I'll just post it. But yeah, anyway, thank you, goodbye.